What kind of challenges do prosecutors face while prosecuting international crimes?
The first, of course, is the challenge of actually being able to get access to evidence, to witnesses, to crime locations, because very often they may be under the control of the groups that you are prosecuting, their leaders, and so they don't want to allow you access. Also, ensuring the safety and security of the people with whom you have contact. So how do I get information from victims, survivors, perhaps even perpetrators, without putting them in danger through their contact with me? So that's a very big challenge. And then how, once we indict someone, how do we get access to them? How do we actually bring them before the court? So those are the primary challenges that you face.
And based on the kind of problems you've encountered, what do you think can be done, or what kind of interventions can we undertake to try and address them?
Well, I think first of all, having cooperation from state authorities, having cooperation from international authorities that may have control over areas that you're trying to get access to, having interstate or court-to-state cooperation. For example, on the issue of relocation of witnesses who, because they are so vulnerable, they really cannot stay where they are. They must be relocated to another state. Some of these witnesses may be people who have perpetrated crimes, and so other states don't want them. So we need cooperation with states to bring those people into their countries when we can make a proper case for relocation. So it's very much a matter of cooperation between states, between courts and states or international groups.
And another thing that we've seen becoming quite serious, especially for East Africa, are transnational crimes. And it's become so difficult to prosecute and investigate these kind of crimes. What do you consider to be like the challenge, and how can the countries that are affected work together to ensure that these crimes are effectively investigated and prosecuted?
Well, the challenge, of course, is that the criminals are so much better at working in the global environment than we are. They don't have to have mutual legal assistance agreements or documents, so they're ahead of us in terms of operating in a global environment. What that means for us is that states have to, first of all, appreciate that these crimes don't just occur in their boundaries, that other states are involved, perhaps even on other continents. And so you have to have cooperation among the states. You have to have a simplification of the ways that they cooperate so it can be done on a very timely basis. And one of the ways they can do that is to fully implement the UN Convention on Prevention of Transnational Organized Crime, because that emphasizes interstate cooperation.
When you look at the East African jurisdictions, you'll realize that the prosecution and the investigation, they work separately. In fact, the offices are located in different areas, such that the prosecution works on its own and the investigation works on its own. So, I mean, do you see this as a big challenge?
I think it's not just in East Africa. Many states, for a variety of very good reasons, have separate prosecution services and investigative services. Unlike the international courts, which combine those functions under the Office of the Prosecutor. So if you have a situation where you have a clear division and they are separate entities, the key to success is close cooperation. Some of these investigations for complex crimes can take a year, 2 years. And if you don't have this close coordination, you may have a situation where the police bring you the investigative report at the end of 2 years, and you find that 90% of what you need is not in there.
I spoke to Deputy Director of Public Prosecutions from Uganda, and his major concern was that, for example, working together, these countries have got different laws. How do we blend the different jurisdictions together to be able to, for example, address a crime that is cross-cutting countries?
Well, within the country, I think you can create specialized crimes units, and that those units can have jurisdiction over whatever crimes the country gives them jurisdiction over. So in some states in Africa, very, very forward thinking, and they have laws or special crimes units that have jurisdiction over the core international crimes of war crimes, genocide, crimes against humanity, but also against terrorism as a standalone crime, against torture as a standalone crime, and organized crime. So one unit has the ability to investigate and prosecute all of those crimes. And many states then also have a specialized judicial unit or designated judges who will hear these crimes. And it's important because these are very complex crimes. So you want to build expertise and knowledge, and you want a stable group of people who are engaged in investigation and prosecution and trying these crimes as judges. So these specialized units, I think, are a very good way to bring all that together in one centralized location.